I'm so glad this is next to me. Right. Tuesday, March 11th, 2025, Chaska Park and Recreation Commission meeting called to order. Mary, if you could do roll call, please.
Yes, Jason Branch, Elizabeth Wyving,
Here.
Georgianne Keyport. Here. Baxter Essig.
Here.
Danielle Haie.
Here.
Carly Whitner.
Here.
Michael Hauer.
Here.
Terry Schwerm.
Here.
Kevin Hill.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Everyone just read that agenda before I entertain a motion. Does anyone have any proposed changes, additions they'd like to see made?
No.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
A second.
First from Commissioner Schwarm, second from Commissioner Haye. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Adopted the agenda. Moving on to item number 4, visitor presentations. Any online?
No one online.
No, none online, okay. That closes out item number 4 of the agenda. Item number 5, approve previous meeting minutes from January 14th, 2025. Does anyone have any comments or things they'd like to discuss from the previous meeting minutes? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes from January 14th, 2025?
I so motion.
First from Commissioner Haye,
I'll second.
second from Commissioner Hoyer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes and we approve the previous meeting minutes from January 14th, 2025. Item 6 on the agenda, receive council and planning meeting minutes from January 6th, 2025, January 27th, February 3rd, and February 24th. Any discussion items regarding those meeting minutes? All right, no motion is necessary. We have received those meeting minutes. Moving on to item number 7, reports. Item 7A, curling and events. Mary, I'll turn it over to you to introduce this evening's presenters.
Thank you. Tonight, we are happy to have with us the team from the Curling and Event Center. Jeff's got his staff here, so they're going to share some information with us on operations as well as current and upcoming events. Welcome, you guys. Gals.
If I remember how to do this here, give me 1 second. I feel I'm on trial and in a jury here. It's intimidating. Let's see.
I do hope you need it.
First, I can tell you about us and what we do. So there we go. All right, so I'm Jeff Isaacson. I work as the Curling and Event Center Manager. With me tonight are the full-time staff of the facility. Scott Belvich, he's our head ice maker and facility supervisor. Clay Orvik, he works as the Curling and Event Center Supervisor, and Devin Cannon, who works as the Curling and Event Center Coordinator. So we're excited to tell you all about what we do, and hopefully you have a lot of questions for us. So we'll start with curling. Before we get started, I wanted to give a shout out to Devin for putting this PowerPoint together. She spent many hours on it and did an excellent job, because I don't think the other 3 of us could have done that.
Lots of pictures.
A lot of pictures, but I mean, it was great reflecting on the PowerPoint, because it just, you start to remember all the good things you do throughout the year. So put a lot of effort into it. So thank you so much for that. So we'll start a little bit about membership, and I really like this photo. It highlights some of our Monday curlers. So a lot of these are instructors and members of the facility. So I think that's one of the greatest things about the sport of curling is just how it brings people together. It's the biggest strength, I think, and one of the things we're most proud of. So this is a group of people throughout the facility that have got to know each other, and they just come in on Monday mornings and do a pickup game and draw cards and play against each other. So it's really cool. See the friendships that have been formed. When we first opened the facility, Scott and I did a lot of our learn to curls, and we talked about just the friendships you'll meet through the sport. And we said, we've witnessed people getting married, when you meet someone through curling, and we've said it's guaranteed to happen here too, and we've seen it happen. So it's, yeah, so it's.
Host like during curling?
There was.
There
at the one
was,
event we
yes,
had last year.
last Fire and Ice. So,
Yeah.
and we've seen members who met through the sport actually get married. So.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So super cool. And it's one of those sports I think it's just unique. On the sheet next to you, you could be playing an Olympian, world champion, the leading cancer researcher in the country, 777 airline captains. You get all walks of life that play the sport, and people you would otherwise never meet in your lives. You meet through the sport of curling. So I think it's just a really neat thing. So, but listening about our facility, we currently have 865 members, and that does still put us at one of the largest curling memberships in the country. We range anywhere from about 750 to 1,100 throughout the year as we add people throughout the spring and summer leagues too, but kind of level off about 750 to 850 core winter members. So
Usually.
Olympic years, we always see that spike.
up. You started sign up January 1 and it's good through December 30.
Yeah, our membership season runs October 1st through September 30th. And aligns with the other clubs through that winter season, but you can jump in at any time and it gets prorated throughout the year. So we see people will jump in for spring leagues, which are registrations going on now, and then again for summer leagues. So really neat to see a strong membership like this. A lot of people have been with us through the start, and we continue to bring in new members, which we'll talk about the ways we're doing that. So some of the benefits of membership here, I mean, you can book practice ice with us and use that whenever it's available. It allows you to participate in league play. You can get crooked pint discounts, so they often take advantage of that. And BOGO range tokens at the town course. So we try to partner with them, and we do have members that say, thank you, we use that all the time. So it's fun to involve them too. So we do offer a discount through the community center too. I don't think a lot of people have taken advantage of that, but it's something we do. Our leagues.
So I'm Clay Orvick. I'm the Curling Event Center manager. I'm just going to chat a little bit about our leagues. I'm sorry, supervisor. I said manager, supervisor. Curling Event Center
job
supervisor.
already.
Giving myself a promotion. Jeff, you're out of a job. No, I'm just kidding.
I called you here tonight.
Yeah.
I really am.
So as Jeff mentioned, our membership year runs October to September, and that's partly because of our winter leagues is the start of our membership year. We have a 20-week season that runs October to March. We do 13 leagues over 6 weeknights. The only day we don't have any league play is Saturday, but Saturdays are usually filled with practice ice with members, especially during the winter when we have competitive curlers practicing using our ice. They want to practice before they go to national or world events, that kind of stuff. We also do 2 6-week, a spring and a summer league. The spring league runs May to June. The summer league runs August to September. Usually those are Monday through Thursday league nights. It's just when it's 85 degrees outside, people are less interested in curling, but we do still tend to get close to filling those. In addition to that, this year we did run a 6-week beginner league. Friday, 8 p.m. It filled up 12 teams. It was 6 weeks. We did skip 1 week for Valentine's Day. But again, it filled up and we had nothing but great feedback from the members or from the people who participated in that. We also had, during that, we had several members from that picture that you saw earlier who came in and volunteered their time to teach these beginner league curlers the sport. So that they're learning, properly. We want to make sure that everybody knows the rules and is playing the game properly and safely. So that was nice. Any questions on leagues? Anything?
Will you do another beginner league?
That's the plan. One thing we do have to talk about is, several of these beginner leagues wanted to get into our winter leagues now. We do have a few leagues where we can put them. Several of the later leagues have some openings. But I would love to do another beginner league because it went so well. Maybe another 6-week, maybe a winter 6-week and a fall 6-week or something like that. So,
In spring and summer, we always offer beginner leagues as well. So,
Oh, okay.
And the facility's 10 years old this year.
I believe it's Christmas this year will be 10 years. Yeah.
And then what have you seen in terms of memberships from 10 years ago and to now? And like, what is that? Is it something built?
yeah, I think like when the facility was first built and we peaked around 12 to 1,300, which was just insane. Like we were not prepared for that many people all at once. A good benchmark in the sport of curling for many years is 100 members per sheet of curling ice. You're doing really well. So we're above that. So we're trending. Our membership's staying pretty consistent year after year now, kind of hovering at that 800 number. So.
And I think that's a really impressive number, because I think when I first moved to Chaska, the year before the facility was built, and that was one of the things I'd read about, this was being built, and I remember that was reported when we used to have a local newspaper. That was one of the things they talked about. It was that the number of people in leagues, being that number. That's really impressive to see that even you're just, that's still a little 10 years into it. That's really impressive.
Yeah, I remember building the software for this and putting out the league registration, and we actually thought the software broke because it filled in seconds. And we were like, oh boy. It was a, if you build it, they will come success story. And then we had to quickly scramble and build more leagues out. And it was just an awesome problem to have. So.
Do you have any idea of like breakdown of where people are from? I mean, is it mainly Chaska residents or,
I don't know the exact
Yeah.
breakdown, but they're from sort of all over the southwest suburbs. We do get some members from St. Paul area.
Right.
Yeah.
It's much a regional draw the sport is here. So we're drawing from, I'd say we're 75% non-Chaska, 25%. So there's opportunities to grow within the city. So that's one of our focuses. But that was one of the park board's objectives, is to build the facility to drive people into downtown. So I think it's certainly meeting that objective and doing a good job with that. But yeah, definitely a regional draw. We'll see teams come up from Mankato to play in the spring summer leagues. So it's not uncommon to drive an hour to play.
In addition to the member leagues, we also do junior curling programs. Our junior curling program is Saturday morning, ages 8 to 18, runs 18 Saturdays during the winter season, October to March. We do split it into 2 different sessions, a 9-week before Christmas and 9 weeks after Christmas. The reason we do that is we find that juniors tend to be busy and they might have something going on in the fall, so they can't participate. And we don't want them to pay for a full season when they can only participate in half. Currently, we do have 55 kids enrolled in the winter session. That is 91% full, and it seems to be growing every year. So that's a positive. It's the future of the sport. We like that. In addition to the junior curling program, there is also a sub-zero high school curling program. Several of our junior curlers have moved on to that high school program. It provides opportunities for kids to letter in curling at their high school, Chaska, Chanhassen. We've also had several members go on to compete at national and world level events. So I have some names listed here: Brooke and Allie Giroux, Mason Gensel, Leighton Hines, and Will Podorodsky. You might recognize that last name. So anyway, our junior curling program is is very successful. Kids enjoy it and have a great time, and they're the future of the sport. So that's always a positive. So, any questions on that? In addition to the junior curling, we also do several open to the public curling events where you don't necessarily need to be a member, but you can come in and give it a try. We do public learn to curl classes where you can sign up as an individual or as a small group up to 4 people. In 2024, we held 19 classes with a total of 241 participants. We also do curling night out events, which are in conjunction with the on-site restaurant, the Crooked Pint. Come in, you get hour and a half learn to curl, and then dinner and drinks afterwards at the Crooked Pint. That's a group of 4. I believe one of our commissioners has done it before and had a great time, it sounds like.
It was so fun. If
Yeah.
you are on the fence about doing it, you just gotta do it.
Yeah.
So much fun.
And in this season, we've done over 60 groups of 4, which is more than 240 curlers or more. We do have another one in April. We have one later in March. It's already full. Another one in April that does have spots available. So that number could go up. And then we also do private group events for corporations or families. In the year 2024, we did 252 separate in private curling events. I don't know the total number, but we can do anywhere from 6. I think the smallest one we've done was 6 people, and the biggest one we've done, I think we did a 96-person one time over 2 sessions. So if they're 2-hour classes, you get instruction about 30 minutes and then an hour and a half of actually playing the game. So, we also do bonspiels. We just held a bonspiel this last weekend called the Brick City. There was 16 teams. We've had teams from Sioux Falls, Rice Lake, Frogtown, which is in St. Paul, and the Four Seasons, which is up in Blaine, in addition to Chaska teams. We also do the Big Spiel, which is a gigantic 96-team bonspiel tournament held in conjunction with the 5 clubs in the Twin Cities, us, Lakeville, which is the Dakota Curling Club, Four Seasons, Frogtown, and St. Paul. So the teams will come from all over the country, and they play at least one game at, I believe they're guaranteed 3 different clubs. So it's a great way to see all the clubs in the area, including ours. The Fire and Ice is our summer spiel, which is the big city party where there's live music, 48-team bonspiel. We also do a 1-day junior spiel, usually held in October or late October or early November, right around Halloween. And then we also have a junior curling camp over the course of a week in the summer. And at the end of that, they do a junior bonspiel. So we hold all kinds of events at the Chaska Curling and Event Center. So.
All right, and then the USA Curling's the governing body of the sport, so it's been really good to be on positive terms with them. Our club is a member club, and then our membership has the option to join as an individual as well. And there's different tiered memberships. And then working with USA Curling this past year, we hosted one of their national championships, the 5 and Under Nationals, for those new to the sport, 5 years or under experience. Everyone thinks it's a toddler spiel.
Number one question I get is, what's it like having 3-year-olds out on the ice?
It's a great group of curlers, extremely enthusiastic. They're brand new to the sport. They love it. And I think it's just a really good thing to grow the game across the country. In addition to that, like one event is usually a lot, but we also took on the mixed doubles pre-trials as an opportunity for 2-person teams to get into the Olympic trials, which were just recently held. So that was a fun event. When that was going on, we also had the members assembly. I remember going out to one in New York when we were becoming a member for the first time there. So it was neat to bring that to the Twin Cities and host it. And they actually used space in the event center for their board meeting. They used the ice for on-ice training when the games weren't being played, for different workshops, and then rented space at the community center too. So got to use a bunch of the different facilities. And that was neat to also have the Hall of Fame ceremony for Team McCormick, which is the ladies team that won a world championship back in the early 2000s. Scott might know the year. Was it 2003? I think. Yes. It is. But it's really cool to see that, as you can see from the photo, it brought in a bunch of family and friends of the team, and they were really excited to celebrate that. And then we're also in discussions about club nationals for 2026. That should bring 24 teams. And you would qualify through that through different regional tournaments. So, and that'll be right after the Olympics. So there'll be a ton of interest on the sport. So I think that'll be an exciting event if we can lock that one down. And quickly here, I know we have a lot more slides to get through, but just some initiatives that are new this year. We have a membership engagement committee. It's very much just getting started, but the goal of it is to enhance the member experience. They identified areas to work on: off-ice socialization, skill development, improving bond spiels, coming up on 10 years, just recognizing and celebrating all the things that we've done, and then improving league dynamics. And then we've also started hanging banners if you've been in there. So you can see in that photo, Team Gensel was just at a recent city council meeting where they were awarded the championship banner for winning the U18 nationals. So we're starting to hang those up and getting quite a collection of teams doing quite well, which is exciting to see. And Devin is going to fill you in on the event center.
Yes, hi, I'm Devin. I've been with the city just a little over a year now. But I'm our curling and event center coordinator, so I'm mostly working with our event center clients and groups. And so we've got just a couple of photos here. But I think one of the things that I love so much about the event center is it really is a perfect space for all different types of events. It's not just like a wedding venue, it's not just a meeting venue. We host really a wide variety of events throughout the year. So lots of weddings, lots of conferences, meetings, but birthday parties, anniversary parties, different community events. So really just a wide variety. As far as like things that are included with this space, we take care of the setup and takedown of all the tables and chairs. So those are included. We've got the nice fireplace and the ceilings with like the chandeliers all included, large coat closets with hangers, the built-in screen and projector system, along with the sound system in the space, and then microphones too. And what's so nice about that is you don't actually have to have like a DJ for your event. You can really easily like plug in a cell phone or plug in a laptop and play a playlist. So we've had some weddings take advantage of that instead of having a DJ. But it's used by like a lot of like our party groups as well too. And then we also have the catering kitchen, the built-in bar space, the patio space and patio furniture too, so people can take advantage of that outside space when it's nice out. So we've got a picture of from a wedding when they brought their own cornhole and had that out on the patio during social hour. And then some of the other really nice things about our location is just being right adjacent to Fireman's Park. So for all of like your photo opportunities, we've also got that outdoor stage space that's used for ceremonies. The curling entertainment, I list this on here because even for our events that aren't curling, we'll have a wedding and we see people kind of wander over to the curling windows to start to watch the curling. And then other nice things about the event center, I would say, is just the affordable room rental rates. And so having the option like Sunday through Thursday to rent the space for a minimum of 4 hours at our resident rate is $400, or non-resident would be $475. All the way to like our Friday and our Saturday dates, they are like a little bit of a higher price point for an all-day package rental, but still really affordable. And then I think one of the big things, just having worked at like other event venues and spaces before being with the city, is the ability to choose your own caterer and to choose your own vendors. So we work with a lot of different outside communities that accommodate all different needs. So those are some of the things about the space. And then as a little recap of 2024, we hosted a total of 208 events in our space. In 2024, so 178 of the events were external. So 44 of those were weddings or wedding related events. So including like groom's dinners, we had a couple engagement ceremonies or engagement parties. And And then 30 of them were Rotary meetings. So those were our Thursday morning at 6 o'clock, opening the building for Rotary meetings weekly. And
We
then,
had to flip a coin usually to see who was opening.
yeah, yeah, it was kind of like.
Guys are hard.
Yes, yeah, very early. And then 27 celebrations. So this would be like our birthday parties, kind of ranging to like baby showers, a little bit of everything. 25 school events. A lot of this is like our high school sports banquets, but also like Eastern Carver County School District hosts several meetings and trainings with us every year. And then 52 falling into like an other category. So different like fundraising events. This is more of like our corporate and conference type events too. And then 30 of them were internal city events. So that's kind of like our community events. That's when we've used the space for like Latin Music Fest, the MLK Day celebration, kind of events along those lines. And then our busiest month in 2024 was definitely June. We hosted a total of 30 events in June. So pretty much an event. It wasn't quite an event every day because we had a couple days where we did 2 events. We did a morning and then an evening one, and flipping the space during the day. And then I did pick out a couple events that I thought would be fun to highlight. So one of them was a wedding that we had in August. So I've got a couple photos there. They actually did their rehearsal dinner in the event center. So they rented the space on a Thursday evening so that they could come in early, set all their decor up, and then they actually had their rehearsal dinner in this space on Thursday. And then they had a Friday wedding, and they did have their ceremony out on the outdoor stage. And then they also had their reception in the event center space. And they shared photos with us of their wedding. So I thought that was a cool one to highlight. And then we also had Lake Winds Co-op. They hosted a 2-day seminar with us in October. And so they had 2 days of meetings in the event center, and then they also did a group curling event. And so that was a really, really cool one to be part of too. And then a couple other ones I did want to highlight was we hosted our Dueling Pianos event, which was an event hosted by the Crooked Pint, kind of in partnership with the event center. So the Crooked Pint really wanted to do a partnership event with Parks and Rec. And so we landed on a Dueling Pianos event. We did get some mixed feedback on the actual musicians and performers, but maybe you've or attended or were there, but so we did have a little bit of mixed feedback on the musicians, but overall, I think the feedback was that people liked that we were hosting an event that was like open to the community in Chaska, doing something that was live music, especially during the winter months. And so they appreciated that they didn't have to like drive into the Twin Cities, into St. Paul, Minneapolis to have like this type of event. And then the other one was actually one that was hosted in February. It was the Life Foundation Gala. It was this nonprofit's very first event they were hosting. But I wanted to highlight this one because it was a formal event, so people were in formal wear. They also brought in all of their own audio-visual equipment. So a little bit of a different setup where the event center windows are. That's where they had two screens and draping that they had brought in. So I think it just shows a really wide variety. And then these are just a couple or a few reviews that we've received the past year that our team is really proud of. And so the first one being from a wedding that we had in June. Both the bride and groom worked for a local catering company, so they had worked a lot of weddings and events. And so that's kind of what they were referencing with being in the events industry for 6 years. And I thought this one was cool because it highlighted our event center team. It also highlighted Crooked Pint and even our event security that they had a good experience with. And then the second one was a September wedding that we hosted, and they did have their ceremony on the outdoor stage and reception inside the event center space. And something that really stood out to us about this review is that they commented on the fact that they loved like our venue because they could go back and visit because it is a public space. And so they can come back every year and remember that they got married in Fairbanks Park. And then this last one, this was actually from the Lake Winds group that we saw photos of on the last slide. So where they had the conference, 2-day conference in the event center, and then they also did the curling as well. And so, yes. And then this slide, we just wanted to recognize, although there's 4 of us full-time staff, we do have a lot of part-time staff that help us make everything happen. So on the curling side, there's 13 ice staff. So those staff are mostly helping Scott mornings and evenings in between leagues. And then we have 48 curling instructors, and then we have approximately 6 junior curling instructors and volunteers, as well as guest service team members. And the guest service are really kind of on the curling and event center side. And then for the event center, we have our event center attendants, and these are our staff that are closing out the building at the end of the night. So on Fridays and Saturdays, our building will be open until 1 a.m. for events. So these are our staff that are working the shifts from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. at times, and a little bit of everything in between, but it's a lot of weekends and evenings. And then we have internal and contracted custodial staff. So when we do have back-to-back events, we have staff that come in overnight and flip the room from one event setup to the other. And then staff who are there during the day and the afternoon too, helping us get everything ready for events. We also work with contracted event security too. So for events that are serving alcohol, we do have a security that's present. And then 46 outside caterers. So that was a number from 2024. We worked with 46 different outside catering companies for events, as well as the Crooked Pint catering team. And then just many awesome event vendors. So DJs, decorators, photographers, day of coordinators, rental companies, bringing ceremony chairs, bringing decor. So that's a little bit of makes up our team. And then maybe if you want to take away our.
All right, a little bit more of a focus then for this year, some of our goals, just to continue offering opportunities for the public to come in. We're in talks about an open house event where maybe the community can sign up. We want to somehow track, I guess, how many are going to show up. So we're not like completely overwhelmed if it does blow up, but just a free opportunity to come in and try curling as well as everything else that we've offered. Grow that membership. I think that beginner league was just showing us that there's still a lot of demand out there and people had a great experience with us. So we want to keep growing that. You know about the in-ice advertising initiative. We're trying to get some revenue through that and then working on the live streaming. So most curling clubs now, no matter how big, how small they are, have live streaming. So we're almost catching up, to that. So, but it's just common now to sit at your home and be able to watch curling. So anytime we host a big event, then we'll be able to stream it across the country. So, and then with the event center, I mean, just those number of events that we host, we just want to continue to build up the staff with event attendance. We're going to try a new position this year with the events intern, put the focus more on the event center and learning that business and really helping Clay and Devin out with all the work that goes along with that. So we're excited to try that. Continue with the social media presence and developing marketing materials to get our name out there. And the biggie 2026 is carpet and chair replacement going on 10 years now. The carpet's starting to show its age and some of the stains aren't coming out anymore and the chairs are starting to rip and rust. It's just time and we're excited to get rid of the purple. So if you like purple, I apologize, but I think a change will be good for the space. So we're excited about that. So with that, that's kind of what we do. And we're excited about being a small group like this with a lot of part-time help, but just the amount of things that we pump out each year, we're really proud of. So thanks to you guys. And Scott didn't want to speak, but he's a big part of the success. He does a great job with the ice and the facility.
I
I've
think-
heard about the ice guy.
As I say, Marshall has
Yeah.
many times touted that you've got one of the premier ice people in the country. Is that Scott that he's talking about?
Yeah, he does a great job himself and the crew that he trains, and we have world-class ice, and that's recognized now with our membership. When we first started, they didn't know what good or bad curling ice was. So, but now they're going out and they're bond spieling and they're coming back. It's like, wow, I see what you mean when you have great ice like you do. So we're fortunate. So.
In NBC Sports did a curling night in America thing here at one point, didn't they? Is that, I don't remember when, I just remember at one point, I've
Yeah.
seen the signs up at the.
So we were one of the host sites. That was kind of a made for TV event, and NBC did. It's discontinued now, but that was really neat to host that in a club, especially of our size. I think it was a challenge, but it went really well. But we were one of the smaller clubs to host that. Typically, it was in an arena or a much bigger facility. So, but fun event. So that had countries. I don't remember all of them now. Italy, China,
Japan.
maybe Japan came over, and then they played the US teams. And then like each week, one of those games were featured on NBC. So
I was in Mexico on vacation recently and in the pool met people who work out of Kansas City, Missouri. And they had just been to our curling center for a corporate event.
isn't that wild?
Small world.
That's super strange and totally not surprising. That's awesome.
Wow.
So,
We're well known across the country, definitely, just for our quality ice, but it is a destination. People try to make it here once a year, like for the fire and ice or the big spiel, and they always leave just blown away at the facility. So
We're always turning teams away for the fire and ice.
Ah,
unfortunately, yeah, I mean, that's one that's just so much demand and excitement for, and partnering with Parks and Rec, they do such a great job out in the park with the bands and the cricket pint with the food. I mean, it creates a great atmosphere for a fun summer event. So that one will fill. Registration's coming up next week, or I think next week, Thursday. But in the first second of enrollment, it will be full. So
You're 3 seconds late, you're too late.
which is great.
Sure your servers are ready for that.
Yeah.
yeah.
The teams actually in California must have really good Wi-Fi because they did good on registration last year. So we'll see who rises to the top.
Time zone.
Yeah.
Scheduling for a lifetime, so that's probably what they're doing.
It's such a cool facility though, just like the partnership between city and everything and leagues and business. And it's just such a cool partnership that I think a lot of communities see stuff like this and they look at our community as leaders and as an example of what you can do when you bring these multiple entities together to create a partnership. And, and then you meet people, in Mexico that are from Kansas City, they're suddenly here. But it's such a cool partnership, I think, across many different, again, seeing city get involved with private enterprise and the leagues and everything. I grew up in Fargo and there was a curling facility up there. Never knew what it was. I had no idea. And I would go to hockey games in the facility next to it, all the time growing up and across the street for NDSU activities. I had no idea what curling was until it was on the Olympics.
Yeah.
And then moving here, I'm like, oh, they're building a curling facility. I'm like, oh, interesting, But so cool to see that there's just a partnership and you guys run a wonderful facility.
Yeah, I think
It's really
the whole project's been a really good thing for the community. There's something really for everyone. When you look at the park and the concessions and the beach, it's packed all summer long, and bringing families in just to eat. You can watch curling, you participate in curling, and then the event center itself just hosts so many wonderful celebrations. So it's well used and good things.
One of the number one calls we get is, when is curling on so I can come down and watch it and eat? And I mean, we get that call all the time.
It's huge. I work with the company that owns franchise partner there, and I'm in there a couple times a month just for work, and it's exactly what it is. You see people just glued, that entire thing. It's like the world's largest television, but it's live action stuff and people just love it. And we had an IT vendor that installed a new POS system at the restaurant this last year. And they were looking at that and they ended up having their holiday party there, doing one of those events, you know, where they came in and curled and ate. And the last couple of times I've been there, it's been corporate events of people coming in, eat at the restaurant and then go curl. And just talking with everybody, they just love it. They think that the partnership of all that and the activities, it's just so cool. It's something different. You know?
Yeah.
Who would have thought of it, you know?
It's a great vision, yeah.
What are your thoughts on the advertising in the event or the curling area? I'm not familiar with other clubs. Is there a ton of advertising that happens on the ice or on the walls?
Yeah, I think if you travel around to most curling clubs, they're gonna have the walls peppered with different types of advertisements. A lot of in-ice logos, so we're one that has actually very fewer, you know, or mainly our own internal, you know, logos in there. So I think there's an opportunity to do it in a nice professional way and bring in some revenue there. So, and I personally think when it's done right, it looks quite nice out on the ice. So we'll see where that lands. I'm excited for it. But it's definitely common to have that, and most facilities really, they need that revenue, their volunteer run, or it's just a really small club. So that's just a necessary part of it. So but we're getting to that point. We just want to explore and make sure we're taking advantage of an opportunity. If there's people that want to get an ad in the ice, I think we should try it.
How superstitious are curlers? Like wear the same socks every time and.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of them out there. Yes.
Stick or something.
Yep,
Oh, that's so cool.
same routines.
Next time I go and see what people do.
They'll twirl the rock the same way, or they'll just, yeah.
It's fascinating. Sports psychology is fascinating.
A lot of competitive curlers have their lucky socks, so that is a thing.
They're like, okay, I wanna be in the one that advertises the Crooked Pine Ale House or something. How interesting to see.
Matt Hamilton, a curler, I think he has a handkerchief or something always hanging out of his pocket, same color, you know, it's just, that's what he's known, you know, there's all of these curlers that have these quirks.
You guys have some goals. Do you need, like, what do you guys need to achieve those goals? What kind of resource and support do you guys need?
Money, staff. No, I think we're set up, positioned quite well. The city's given us the support we need, so I think it's just a matter of going out and devoting the time to get the stuff done. We're making good progress on a lot of those goals already, so.
Thought to putting something different for flooring other than carpet in the event center. I mean, I'm sure that's quite costly if you were looking at real wood floors or something, but to me, my first thought is, why would you put carpet where people eat? I mean, could it last longer and, you know, maybe it's more upfront, but it's gonna last longer and I don't know, carpet's fairly. Have you guys looked at that or just carpet's the best?
You want to speak?
Yeah, we have, we've looked at it a little bit. A lot of venues you'll see like a polished concrete floor, which isn't necessarily the best for like echoing and things in the space. So that is like a problem that, if that, I guess that is one benefit to like the carpet. In addition to it is a little bit less expensive than if you were to go like a wood flooring option or doing that polished concrete. So we've looked at a couple different things as far as like the wood flooring too. I mean, really it's making sure that we're getting something that's not gonna like scuff and scratch too, because I think that's a big part of it. Although the carpet, you can see stains, at least with what we have right now, we are looking to do carpet that's like much lower maintenance. So something that's dark where you're not gonna see like the stains, but I think, yeah, that is one reason we've kind of,
And you can also replace carpet quickly and easily,
yeah.
right? If a tile gets stained, you just pull it out and put a new one in. So we're looking at carpet that's easily replaceable.
Carpet tiles, everybody's really gone back.
Kind of come in patches.
And if you don't notice it. You
Yeah,
don't notice it, that it's not one seamless carpet, but it really makes it a lot easier for the.
For instance, we had a caterer spill some bleach on our carpet a month ago, maybe. And it was just, I mean, I think Scott, you might have done that, but it was real quick to just pull them out and put new squares in. So,
That wasn't getting replaced. I mean,
You can't-
washed out.
yeah, you
that
can't
was
buff that
toast.
out. Yeah, so.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, I guess we were leaning towards carpet, but nothing is like set in stone yet, so we're still kind of exploring options. We were actually looking at like a vinyl for the dance floor. Because what we currently have on the dance floor, we have been polishing it because it's just anytime you're really moving like chairs or things, it is showing like scuffs and kind of scratches, so we do polish it, but then when it comes to having it like refurbished, and Scott can kind of speak to this a little bit more too. Because we've polished it so many times, you have to like fully sand all of that off and so.
We usually have to block off a full week to do that kind of stuff. So it kind of limits us for a week. We try to do it in the winter when we're a little bit slower, but unfortunately it does take, I think, a week at least, if not longer.
Yeah, it was like about a week at time, so, and this kind of like winter, spring, we didn't really have like a solid week where we didn't have anything booked in the space, so. It's something that we'd potentially look into like a different material, possibly like a vinyl or a wood for that we don't need to polish all the time.
Is it tile now or what is it? Or a laminate or
It is wood with a.
The stained
yeah.
wood.
with the stained wood?
Yeah.
Like that. It's
Poly, okay.
hard. You have to polish it, keep it good.
Hmm.
Polishing it makes me sad. So.
High maintenance.
Staining wood and otherwise.
Yeah.
That's what it's value and integrity, and so, yeah, we'll figure something.
That's what they're saying now. It's been sanded a little too many times, so we got explore other options there, so. And we're also going out to do site visits just to see what other cities are doing too. We've done a couple of those and we hope to do a couple more just to get some ideas.
People on our call and say, oh, I'm deciding between X venue and ours, like who is our nearest like competitor that's like same price point, same amount of people it can hold.
I would say like a similar price point, the Minnesota Landscape Arboretum, they actually have rooms that
Really?
are like a similar kind of price point to ours. Similarly, they're also like a semi-public space as well, so I think that's one thing. We're an interesting facility because we are like the event center, we've got the restaurant, we've got the curling piece in the park too, so we're semi-public. I would say that one is probably like the closest one to us. I mean, there's also a lot of like golf course venues too. So it really just depends on where they'd be looking. We've got like the Outpost Center as well, which I would say they're a little bit higher in price point, but they are more of like a private location. So but then our community center spaces too.
I think one reason we stand out is that we do allow caterers from anywhere, as long as they have a license. That's a big thing. I think the Arboretum makes you use certain caterers, whereas we say, I mean, we get several events that are Somali events or quinceañeras where they want to use caterers that specialize in their cuisine. And we allow that, which is a huge thing.
Makes it more competitive for better price points for the consumers and wide range of more things that have very specific.
Yeah.
Does that include the alcohol too? Or do you have limitations on?
So for alcohol, they do have to use the crooked pint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Couple things. So thank you so much for the presentation. This is really cool to hear things. And I'll be honest, I have never curled, but I think it's something we need to do.
We're gonna be
Yeah.
voting later for that being the next time.
Yeah, right. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I definitely want to do that. That sounds like a lot
Oh,
of fun.
no.
Yeah. It's instructor right here.
She's our trainer. I know in the past, we've discussed the need to expand, like the lounge and stuff like that for the curlers. Has that gone anywhere? I don't think we've talked about that for
Yeah,
maybe a year or something.
I think that's gonna be stalled for quite some time. You know, I think that's the ultimate dream for the facility, just to have a bigger space to socialize in. Initially, that was the biggest knock on the facility, is just because curlers are coming in from that traditional curling club mindset where you have a dedicated club room. There's not that competition with the public, you know, in the restaurant. So that was just what the norm was. But I think some of that is dying down. You're not hearing it as much, and we're really embracing what we have, which is an awesome facility. So it's still a dream, you know, to have that space. I think that would allow us more member opportunities for socialization. When we host these national events, it gives a space for the, you know, officials, the curlers. It would be really important for junior curling events. We're not seeing as many of those anymore, just because when you go to a junior bonspiel, you're going there generally for the weekend with your family. So
Yeah,
they can be,
parents come.
parents are coming, grandparents are coming. So then if you want to just hang out for the day, you're kind of doing that in the Crooked Pint, and, you know, they're wanting to turn tables over. You know, they were really good to work with, but obviously, you know, that's a business we want to be respectful of too. So having that space of our own where there's not that competition and people could just hang out would be ideal for our facility. So,
Plus, it's an additional place to rent for corporate
Yeah.
events. It's a
Because
potential way to bring in
the
money.
events page, you go and you get three options. You can do event space, like the restaurant or the players.
yeah.
Options.
Yeah.
I think that's what Marshall talked about a couple of years ago. We talked about the naming rights, was the revenue from the naming rights would be specifically to fund building out that players round to expand to make it, because you really see that a lot of the tractor restaurant. These people coming in to these wonderful events and they eat, but then they want to hang out and socialize, but you see that it just feels weird with the flow,
Mhm.
the actual traffic flow, and you having a dedicated space would be just ideal, I think, for those groups specifically, especially if you got people over 800 members. You know, do leagues and just having that dedicated space. I think that'd be ideal for sure.
Frankly, it's the best advertising that could possibly be for the club. It's 10 to 15,000 cars a day going through that intersection. And if they were able to see the activity generated in there, makes them want to come. That's the way.
Yeah, because those windows are right on that corner.
Yeah.
That massive high volume intersection.
It's funny, they didn't really know what that room was going to be used for when the facility got built. It was just kind of this awkward space, but they knew that intersection was there and they wanted it to look nice. So that's kind of why the glass windows got put there, but then the space was never really designed to with a purpose. So I think looking back, I think that's the number one thing. If we could do it again, that space would have been double, triple that size, or go the length of the building. So.
Yeah. I just have one last question about parking. Do you guys ever run any parking issues out there when you've got events and? Because it doesn't feel like the parking can go anywhere because of, you're just sort of locked in there.
When we know there's going to be big events taking place, we try to get ahead of it. We have a nice parking map that's our city hall friends here put together, which just gives options to overflow into downtown, show the options up at Veterans Park and then across the street. So we have a nice map made, which we'll like on league nights where we know it's going to be busy, we'll email the curlers, just an FYI, it's going to be packed. And wedding events, I know we've used that before. So we try to communicate out the best we can, and we really don't.
I think it's a pretty rare event.
Yeah, pretty rare.
Where parking is an issue. Fire and ice is usually the time, but that's 5,000 people or whatever. So,
And then we just kindly tell people, you want to see parking problems, go to St. Paul Curling Club. Right, and then you'll really see what it's like. So we have it pretty good here, I think. So.
I think you guys do a fantastic job, and I think the facility has become one of those things that is, Chaska is becoming known, identified by and for. You know, when people can say the community center, why would we be hearing about the community center here? It's easy, and I think people can obviously point to Hazeltine because of the international recognition and whatnot, but just in terms of like making this have become one of those things that helps you identify where Chaska is. And you know, hey, what's going on in Chaska? Oh, we've got the curling and event center.
I know we get several events in the event center where they say, oh, we attended a wedding or an event here. And we loved it, and so we wanted to book it. I mean, I've given several tours where the people say that that's what happened. They attended a wedding or an event in Chaska at the Chaska Event Center and loved it and wanted to come back for their event, whatever it is. Yeah.
And you guys keep the place really clean too. I mean, it's always clean. It's like impeccably clean. All the restrooms, just everything. It's always clean and well kept. So I think you guys do a great job. I think it's wonderful.
Well, thank you much. Yeah, we're really proud to work for the city and Parks and Rec and love what we do. So glad people really love the facility because it is a community treasure, I think. So it's, you don't see many of these types of facilities around the country anywhere. So we're really fortunate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Great job. Yeah, but now you're gonna get hooked in all the presentation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. I know.
Job.
Thanks for working.
Yeah.
Moving on to item number 8, discussion items, 8A, park updates, and next we have department happenings. Mary, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to cover real quick for kind of the general public as well as anyone that couldn't make the meeting earlier. So we have Hickory Park that'll be coming up for renewal this year. So we had the Assistant Director of Public Works, Scott Selkin, with us earlier today to discuss the park renewal. And Hickory Park is located in downtown Chaska. Scott brought with him some renderings for the commissioners to look at to replace the current playground. He shared 3 of those with the commissioners tonight, and the commissioners narrowed it down to 2. Next week, March 18th, will be a meeting at the park to review the drawings, get some feedback from them, and kind of keep that going so we can get those decisions made. That will be, as I said, the 18th at 6 p.m. at the park. If there is inclement weather, we will move it to the White Oak Room at the community center. We'll also have the plans available. They currently are available online, so folks can go to our website and look for that information as well. And that's it for me.
The address, that's 120 North Hickory Street near the athletic park, just if people aren't aware where it is.
Letters did go out to the immediate neighborhood last week, so they have been informed, and I actually had a call today on it. So, yeah, hopefully we'll have a nice evening and we can actually have it out in the park. That'd be great.
Yeah, it is nice to get kind of a feel for how much space it is.
Yeah.
We'll be going.
It is definitely tucked in there, so it is kind of a little different than our other park areas, but it's a very nice area. So if you can make it, join us. Yeah.
What we typically see for turnout for meetings like that. I think I've only been to 1, maybe 2. Oaks Park.
Savannah was probably one of our larger ones. I would say, anywhere from 10 to 15, maybe.
I can remember Fortino Woods had a good.
Yes.
turnout when
did.
we did that, but it was pretty nice weather also.
Yes.
That might have a factor.
Yeah. We'll see. So yeah, that is all I have. Erin's got some stuff, so turn it over to her.
Yeah, I'll just give a quick update on the Southwest Chaska Park. Project website is up and running as of kind of the end of last week. And there is an online community survey that's a part of the website. I did put a little sheet, I think, at all of your seats up there that has QR code and the link to check out the project website. It's made to be very interactive. People can comment, add pictures, ideas, things like that. So the online survey, or the survey will be available through April 4th. So that's when that will close. Focus group meetings are scheduled for next week or the week after. They're scheduled for soon, within the next 2 weeks.
It's a week after.
I think it's the week after next, yes. And so those are kind of 8 different focus groups. We'll have our athletic associations, our active older adults, and one within the lodge at the community center. The Lions and the Rotary groups will be a focus group together. Our park and rec staff, we have our families with people with disabilities and other disability groups. The neighborhood around the Southwest Chaska Park, they will be invited for a focus group as well, and there is a postcard that's being mailed to them this week. And then one with some district staff and possibly some high school students as well. So those are all scheduled. With that community survey, we're really going to be pushing that out far and wide. Besides these focus groups, we're going to be, our Facebook pages, websites, posters within our facilities like City Hall, the community center, the curling and event center. Just all of our email lists that we have, cultural liaisons with the schools, really just trying to think of all of the contacts we have and really try to get as much engagement with that before that closes on April 4th. Pros Consulting is the sub-consultant group that's working with Confluence for the planning, and they are the ones that are conducting market analysis for the park. And we are going to be hearing from them next Thursday. That is next week, I know. With what they've kind of found with the market analysis, as they've looked at, what we've provided them information for what Chaska has right now with our parks and different amenities. They'll look at the communities around us, and even farther out too, with other communities that might be a similar size to Chaska and what those communities have in terms of amenities. They're really going to be kind of looking to see, are there any gaps and things that we might want to consider with the new park. So will be fun to hear from them next week. And then I know this is information I think Marshall already provided, but the Park and Rec Commission work session will be April 8th, and that'll be to review the feedback that's been gathered and kind of talk through goals and priorities as we move into more of the concept development with the park. And then late April, we're working on planning some tours to different parks that we can kind of, ones that people might want to take a look at. We know that we like different amenities there or our popular parks, maybe some that have a Miracle League field along with them as well. So that information will be coming out soon. And then there's a Parkapalooza event. It's going to be Thursday, May 8th at the community center. And that will be, you guys will all be invited to that event along with staff. And it'll be a fun day to just kind of be creative and have the opportunity for people to just kind of brainstorm and draw, and the Confluence Architect Group will be there too. So I think that is kind of it for Southwest Chaska Park update.
Well,
I took the survey last night. It was pretty fun.
awesome.
Pictures and get to rank stuff. I passed it along to all my friends, so.
Good, yes, yes.
Awesome, yeah.
Spread the word for sure, so.
Does it collect any information? Is there any, I'm just wondering if there's anything to prevent Kevin from putting it, 1 million times or something like that. So
It does
just go and.
It does track like IP address, I think. So I think it will kind of, if somebody is taking the survey.
Many unique users.
Yes, so I think it will capture that. If Kevin tries to take it 30 times, it will probably see that.
Trying to skew the
I
data.
was just gonna say, I might have my 5 kids take it.
Exactly. So that's
They
great.
have different preferences. 30 might be excessive, but if they want to, that's how they want to spend their time.
And there is some optional demographic questions too as part of the survey at the end. So we were able to really introduce, which will kind of come with the happenings, but we had our community center annual carnival this past Friday night, and that was kind of right when the project website was ready. And so Confluence, Brad and Mamata from Confluence were there, and we were able to kind of catch all of the people that were at the carnival to come over and give some input on some boards that they had brought with different pictures and themes to try to get some input there. So there was a lot of engagement and a lot of great, they had some different colored dots people could put on what was sticking out to them as far as if it was, you know, some water features, if it was ice stuff, ice rink, you know, is it nature play, Ninja Warrior, just all of those things. So it'll be fun for them to kind of summarize all of that input from Friday too. So
That's awesome.
How was the turnout for the carnival?
it was really good. I'm bad at guessing numbers for attendance, but we definitely, as a staff, we all thought that this year was busier than the last few years. I mean, I would say we at least had, you know, maybe 500 to 600 people within the quick 2 hours with our carnival games and the bounce house and balloon artists and all that kind of stuff. So people came right away, you know, lots of young kids. And so I think they came right away so that they could get them home to bed.
Great, thanks.
I did think of one other thing. I almost forgot. Meadow Park, just a short update for that. Staff put out an online survey that's currently available for residents to take and provide feedback as well. A postcard mailing was sent out to nearby households. Staff attended the recent community meeting for the County Road 10 that was a couple weeks ago, I think, which had great attendance. So that was a great opportunity to promote the park there. Ashley and Marshall were on site at the nearby Chaska Place Apartments, the complex, and they timed it where folks were coming home from work and were able to talk with them about that and encourage them to take the survey as well. Thus far, I think we're right around like maybe 70-ish with kind of talking to people about surveys and actually having it done. It will remain open until May 7th. So we've got some time there, but as the weather gets better, they're certainly doing a lot of work on it, on that area. So it's exciting to see. Yeah. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. That closes out 8B. Moving on to item number 9, other business. 9A roundtable. We'll start with Commissioner Schwartz.
The only thing I would note in relation to the Southwest Community Park is it did go out on the Harvest Neighborhood Facebook page, which has about 900 members, so.
That's great.
Several comments already in that. So,
Yeah.
and then I just want to shout out, I don't even know who does it, other than it's a single family homeowner who actually takes the time to snow blow the trails throughout Savannah Oaks Park. Not all of them, but a nice trail around the playground and the main part of the park, and he's done it all winter long. Wanted to publicly thank that person because the trails are well used and it allows a space for people to get there, walk their dogs in the winter and stuff. So he's done that all winter long and it's a big commitment, but it's been nice that he's done it.
As I said, I participated in a curling event and sounds like they have a board in April. I would recommend people get together with groups of 4 and go. It was super fun. Taking lots of community surveys about parks lately. I feel a little bit concerned that now I'm in a different age bracket, and so that's been humbling. So maybe spread it out a little bit more next time, like mid-30s to also the 20s. You're so cool and hip, don't worry. Every day here with us.
She was on social media recently.
I was.
I did see that.
Advertisement, so, I have one thing, just, more of a question that, is there a lot more things in that center area, the community center? I feel like every time I go in there now, there's always something going on in that like rotunda area. There's something set up, there's tables or something. Is that by design that there's just, or we've just had a lot of activity in there recently, or is that the idea is use that space more for meetings and activities?
Definitely open space.
Yeah, I can speak to that a little bit. when we had the wellness event and open house in earlier this winter that we partnered with the Southwest Chamber, we did have a lot of tables set out with just all different information on our, you know, rentals and birthday parties and programs and all of those types of things. And so we ended up leaving that information out for a while after that, thinking this is a great space for people to kind of, you know, learn more. And so with our carnival event that we had on Friday, those tables kind of came back out with the intention of, you know, having information that can be out for a while. And our activity guide just came out. So I think we do need to get a little bit more information on those tables, but the thought is that that space is there. It's a high traffic area that a lot of people kind of go through. So, you know, why not use that for some marketing? And we did have a big dinosaur photo backdrop that was stayed up for the weekend. We thought, you know what, there's gonna be more kids coming through that might wanna. I think that came down today or was coming down soon.
There might be some adults and I'm not gonna give you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It was just interesting. The last few times I've been in there, I feel like I've seen tables set up and I'm like, oh, it just seems cool. Like, I agree. I think it seems like a great place to put information, you know?
Yeah, people are kind of, you know, either hanging out in that space where the tables and chairs for swimming lessons or, you know, just passing through between the arena and the other side of the building, so.
Awesome. I appreciate that. That's all I get.
I brought this little flyer with me that was mailed to my house and lots of information, the curling and event center, the community center, but I'm really excited about the biking. Like brand new bike club. If I had to guess, do you guys know, is it Bob Lincoln who's doing it? Yeah.
Did you guess?
I don't know, wild guess, but I'm just like so excited, a little nervous. I've never joined a bike club, but I think, you know, the rule is no biker left behind, so.
Oh, that's good. So you gonna get on e-bike?
Yes, I still remember that. You're like, all these people just zoomed up the hill and I was like, what?
Tour thing and like I didn't have an e-bike and like everyone else did and they all just like zoomed by and were like, okay, well.
Yeah, performance enhancing
Yeah.
bikes.
We did.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so I encourage everybody to sign up if you're interested and see what it's all about.
Cool.
Did you sign up?
Not yet,
Okay.
but I just got the flyer the other day.
I have nothing to share.
I just want to say, I'm excited for the community park. I think it's gonna be a fun kind of exercise for all of us to partake in. And that should be really exciting.
I've got nothing.
Take the surveys.
Yeah.
30 of them.
Kids.
Yeah.
What do you like to do for hobbies when you're not at school? Take surveys.
That closes out our roundtable discussion. And before we adjourn for the evening, I just want to remind everyone that our next meeting is Tuesday, April 8th at 6:30 p.m. And commissioners, there'll be a work session, as we heard earlier, at 5:30.
Yeah.
And then just a gentle reminder for everyone else out there, we always meet second Tuesday of the month. Come watch.
One more thing.
One more thing.
One more
Yep.
exciting thing that might be great to end with. I wanted to mention that we had a employee recognition breakfast for the whole city last week. And Joan Seedorf, who you guys got to meet at our presentation in December, I think, who has been with the city for over 23, almost 24 years, received a quality service award. So it was a very, very well award for all great work. She works primarily with our active older adults and within the lodge space, but does much more than that. That's kind of her primary role, but she's always been super involved with a lot of different events. And just really cares and, sees the big picture of the city of Chaska as an organization. So anyways, I just wanted to let you know that she received that quality service award. So
Yay.
No, that's
Yeah.
great.
you see her next, congratulate her.
Yeah.
Yeah, will do. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, with that, there a motion to adjourn.
Also move.
Commissioner Keyport, Commissioner Whitner. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.